Well, the Dolphins found their GM, but now they got to search for a new coach, as now they have a lot more on their plate than just rebuild. It's more than that because they're trying to win their first playoff game in the 21st century since the early 2000s.
It's football time.
Alrighty, what's going on? Welcome back to the All Around Sports Podcast, Sports on the channel. I'm your host Antonio. Today we are talking about the Dolphins. The Dolphins, of course, recently fired their head coach Mike McDaniel, and a few hours later went on to hire Packers VP of Player Personnel and Jon-Eric Sullivan, who used to be ran under the Packers. He was a scout executive for some time before he eventually was the player executive VP of Player Personnel in 2022 and from that day forward. But now the Dolphins now search to get a new head coach. As notable candidates out there are Kevin Stefanski, John Harbaugh, and also a couple others, including maybe even Cliff Kingsbury as well. But the question is, who should be the next coach of the Miami Dolphins? I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Before we do, if you guys enjoyed this video, do me a favor, smash the like button down below, subscribe if you haven't already. For now, let's talk about the Dolphins. The Dolphins. I do think John Harbaugh is right now the big target for a lot of teams, but I think ultimately Kevin Stefanski might get the job because I think Harbaugh is going to go to Atlanta. I think that's the big case right now. But to the Dolphins, you gotta learn to win playoff games. You gotta learn to win big games. Because when we look at the team, we look at their offense. They have an offense that can win them a playoff game. You got Devon Achane, who's been coming off of the ground up from the NFL draft a couple years ago. You got Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, who of course went down the middle of the year. You got all sorts of guys on there, but still can't get anything done. And more importantly, can't win in the cold. Tua is 0-14 in 40-degree or lower games to start the kickoff. 40 degrees or lower to start kickoff, 0-14. That's freaking crazy. Because I've said this for a while, I'm going to say it again. I don't care what quarterback you are. I don't care if you're Patrick Mahomes. I don't care if you're Josh Allen. I don't care if you're any quarterback in the NFL. You have to play in the elements. So I think it's something to do with South Beach because sometimes that does have a thin on the body as well because of some blood stuff. The blood thins, I believe, in Miami compared to when you're in colder environments like a snowy environment like Montana, like I used to live in for some time. But the Dolphins have to win a playoff game next year, or they have to let go of Tua. I know Tyler Sports and others have been primarily defending him, but it's time to accept the facts. Tua has to win a playoff game in order for him to cement himself in the Dolphins organization. The last time they won a playoff game, I was 4 years from being born. I was 4 years from being born. And let alone the last time they won a Super Bowl, my dad was probably still in middle school at that time. But here's my main reasoning, though. Even no matter which coach you get, you're still going to be the third best team in the AFC East. You're still the third best team. I mean, the Bills are better than you. The Patriots are better than you. And not only that, the Dolphins have been the face of mediocrity for almost a quarter of a century now. And the Dolphins have not won a playoff game in a long time. They haven't won one in the 21st century. They're the only team that has not won a playoff game in the 21st century. I get that Tua is a good quarterback. I'm not saying he can't play, but you got to find a way to learn to play in the cold. If you're Miami, you got to learn to play in the cold because I know they tried to practice in the snow in Pittsburgh before they went to the stadium, but it doesn't matter what they do. they still lose. It doesn't matter what they do because they find ways to lose. They had one of the best offensive rosters a few years ago and couldn't do anything in the playoffs. Lost to Buffalo with Skylar Thompson and to Kansas City in a BTA. When we look at the Dolphins, there's nothing that they can do. The AFC is only getting stronger. The Steelers might actually be something now. The Ravens aren't going to go away. The Chiefs aren't going to go away. The Bengals ain't going to go away. And on top of it, you got two teams to deal with in your division. The Patriots, who just got done pulling the sweep on you, and on top of it, the Buffalo Bills, even though you beat them in Miami. But you got other AFC teams to deal with other than those guys. You got Houston, Jacksonville, maybe Indianapolis soon, who knows? And then you of course got other teams like the Broncos, the Chargers, Chiefs, other multiple teams. It's not like the Dolphins are going to go anywhere. They're not going to make the playoffs next year. I know that for dang sure. They ain't making the playoffs. You can kiss that scenario goodbye. Because if they don't, I don't know what their road games are because the opponents, I believe, have been released for the Seahawks and other teams. I just haven't had a chance to look at the Dolphins yet. But when they go on the road to colder environments, they fold. It's who they've been. No one can defend that. See, the Dolphins are just that bad in cold weather. So if they can get a head coach that knows what they're doing in the cold weather, I might have a little bit more hope in the Dolphins. But for right now, the Dolphins are just a walking piece of mediocrity at best. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys think the Dolphins? Who do you guys think the Dolphins should have as their new head coach? Should it be John Harbaugh or Kevin Stefanski? Or is it another coach? Let me know in the comments what you guys think down below. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, do me a big favor. Smash the like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, I'll see you on the next one. Ciao for now.